Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to my booth. My name's Jay, and as a professional audiobook narrator, I'm asked this question often by folks, either narrators themselves or folks who are just curious how things work behind the scenes. I'm usually asked some form of this question. As a man, how do you voice a woman in a book? And that question is a good one, but it's also the essence of that question is, hey, Jay, as an audiobook narrator, how do you faithfully voice characters that are different from you in some way? Either demographically, personality-wise, history-wise. How do you honor that character truthfully across all manners of their experience? And that's the kernel of the question, and that's really how you approach this. So it doesn't really matter as a narrator how you tell the story. Some narrators don't really divert from their natural speaking voice in a very significant way. They kind of just keep within a small groove. And then there are folks like myself where I really enjoy giving all of the major players of any given story really distinct voices unto themselves. And if you take those as sort of two polar ends of a spectrum of performance for narrators, neither one's better or worse, neither one's good nor bad, but the through line between them is how you approach these characters, how you learn about them, and how you interpret their experiences. And the way to do that is to look at how they interact with the world. What circumstances have they come from? What's their history up until this story where we're meeting them now? What happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago that brought them to this moment? And then now in this story, the hurdles, the obstacles that they're coming up against. Maybe the world is presenting things in their way. Maybe there's some grand war or battle that they're having to find their way through. Maybe another character is just stopping them from getting what they want. Or maybe the other character is in fact what they want and they're still stopping them. All of those things and every permutation in between gives you a much richer and deeper character than just saying, I'm a man, this is a woman, how do I voice this woman? So once I go through the story and start to understand how a character approaches the world and their problems and interacts with the other characters, I start to get a picture of who they are as a person and how they solve their problems. And then what I do is once I have sort of a spreadsheet in my mind, or sometimes practically on paper in the real world, of all the characters in the book, I take essentially my sliders. And what my sliders are is if you've ever seen a large mixing board in a production studio, the sliders that move up and down with all the dials and buttons and knobs and stuff, I assign values to those sliders, and they can be anything I want. Some of the ones that I use frequently are airy versus earthy, as an example. This might be an airy character's voice where they have just sort of not a lot of weight behind it. It just kind of flows easily. There's not a lot of earth or groundedness. And then if I take that slider and bring it all the way down, now we all of a sudden have a grounded, earthy character. They know exactly how to stand, and they stand here and you probably can't move them very much. Then I can go to another slider. Again, it can be anything. Maybe the texture of this character's voice. We can have them be a smooth character where their voice it flows easily. It has a smooth flow to it. There's not a lot of hiccups. It kind of rolls like waves or hills on the landscape. And then if we pull the slider down to textured, maybe now it's a dirty window that we're looking through and it has this sort of experience behind it. And this is a really textured voice, a smooth voice versus a textured voice. And you can come up with fun sliders too. One that I used recently was snake versus badger. I don't know what that means, but it was fun to play with. And the important thing is these sliders are values that I can apply to this person's personality and their vocal quality that informs how they approach the world, or rather is informed by how they approach the world. So, as an example, the Lance Spector books that I've been narrating for a while now, there's a character in them named Laurel Everlane. She's a highly trained CIA agent, and she's a head honcho within this thing. She's the leader of a special unit within the CIA. And the things we know on paper, the sort of 23andMe stuff, which again is important to factor into the character, you know that she's American, she's from the South, and her name's Laurel Everlane, whatever that means. And they give some details about her history, but ultimately what we understand about her is that, firstly, she's a female, she's from the South, and she also is somewhat no nonsense. She is willing to throw down. She has strength to her. In many of the books, she's in active sort of combat situations, high tension. And all of those things inform how she approaches stuff and how she interacts with the world. So the voice that we gave her is, "Hi, I'm Laurel Everlane," is my way to get into her voice. She's, "Hi, I'm Laurel Everlane." I always say that whenever I feel like I've lost her. "Hi, I'm Laurel Everlane." And all of a sudden now I have her voice. But she flows well, but she has certain punctuation points that she hits. She knows she's no nonsense, and she's there to do business and get it done. She's going to get the job done. She's going to make sure the people she cares about stay safe, and she's going to make sure that they are all taken care of and that the world remains as secure as it possibly can. And that's Laurel Everlane. And then another woman that she works with is Tatiana Alexandrova, who is she's a defector from Russia, and she has obviously a Russian accent, but she's trained in Russia to use her, feminine guile to get the information she needs. So she doesn't need to sort of go in with guns blazing or, much power, because she can get what she wants in other ways. She can say, "You will give me that now," and the people will just do so, because they know that if they don't, she is there and you want to give her what she wants. And naturally, as I'm performing these two characters, each of them have different sliders and they have different sort of personality traits. But Tatiana, on the snake badger, she's more of a snake. She has the flow that makes her look like this and move in a sort of serpentine, feline fashion, and she's not a badger. Whereas Laurel might be more of a badger. She's going to come at you. If you mess with Laurel, she's going to take you down, and she's not going to be afraid to let you know it. And so those are the sliders that you can just sort of arbitrarily move up and down. And in combination with a grand number of them, you can have a wide variety of many different characters that are very rich. So to answer the question at essence, hey Jay, as a man, how do you voice a woman? What's the answer to that? The answer is you listen to the character and you listen to how they approach the world and go in that fashion. So instead of pitching my voice arbitrarily up or down, I can give myself a wide range of characterizations by simply characterizing them differently. I hope this was helpful for you, and if you have any questions about this or anything else voiceover related, you're always welcome to drop me a line here on my website. There's coaching on my website if that's your speed and you want to work on something like this together. I would love to do that. And until the next one of these, be well, everybody. I'll see you there. Toodles.